All right. Welcome to what's going to be a bit of a weird episode tonight. Um, I'm solo. I'm going solo. It's your host, Sammy, going solo for the very first time in my God, since we started this podcast. Nonetheless, it's a brand new episode of the Curfew Boys. I thank you all for tuning in. Um, yeah, the rest of the Curfew Boys decided to pull Montreal Canadiens and go on the IR somehow tonight. So, uh, also my cousin Chris was supposed to join me on this episode, but decided to go to the game at the Bell Center to watch Montreal face the Ottawa Senators because he got, I think, free tickets from his friend, and he decided to go there instead. I guess we all know where his priorities lie. Family does not come first. So, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, Chris. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding. I would have done the same too. If I was supposed to help out my cousin with something and got offered free tickets, I'd be like, "Sorry, bro. I'm out. I'm going to the game tonight. So you're on your own." As for the rest of the Curfew Boys, like I said, they're all on IR. But I hope they're here with me in spirit and bear with me. This is, like I said, this is the very, very first time I'm recording an episode, not just on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or any audio platform, but even on YouTube too. This is going to be going on YouTube. So just bear with me. I'll do my very best. And let's get this show started. Before I get on to some of the hot topics tonight, whichever, whatever time of the day it is, a big shout out's going to go to Pat Hickey. So, Pat Hickey is a very popular writer, reporter, journalist for the Montreal Gazette, and he's been covering the Montreal Canadiens and sports in the city of Montreal for decades. I want to say 30 years plus. 5 weeks ago, Pat Hickey announced that he was going to retire, and it was revealed, at least I found out why he did it. So I don't know what's going on within Canadian media. Well, I don't think it's just going on in Quebec. I don't know if there's something going on across the country where I don't know if it's Bell Media or whoever's in charge of Canadian media. I guess they're going through a revamp or retool or a rebuild, and I think they're unfortunately laying off jobs. I know uh, there's some media company in Quebec that is laying off some people. All that to say is, like I said, I don't think I have my entire facts down right, but all that to say is that the reason why Pat Hickey decided to retire is so some other young reporter, journalist, what have you, can keep his or her job. That's mad respect. Like, when Pat Hickey announced that he was going to retire 5 weeks ago, he announced that he will be retiring. Marty St. Louis, um, in a sense, like congratulated him and said, "I heard the reason why you're retiring. You have my respect." And I remember seeing the press conference. It was a post game press conference that Marty St. Louis said that to him. I'm there. I'm like, I didn't know why. I'm like, okay, wow, all right. I thought it was just maybe, the successful career that Pat Hickey's had. He's well known in the city in Montreal press, the Montreal Gazette. I figured, oh well, okay, congratulations. Time to retire. What a great career you had. No, he's giving up his job so somebody else can keep theirs. That that's very noble. That's like, man, Pat Hickey. If ever you hear this one day, good on you. Like, we need more unselfish people like you in this world. And you've done your time for the city. I remember crossing paths with Pat Hickey one point. when Laval, when the Laval Rockets were in the playoffs last season, myself, my father, my uncle, and cousin, we were in line trying to get in, waiting to get in, and Pat Hickey just crossed in between myself and my father. My father's name is Pat, and after Pat Hickey passed us, I just hear my dad behind me. Hey, that's Pat Hickey. So Pat Hickey and I, we have a very, even though he doesn't know it, you know, uh, we've had a bond. We've had a connection for like that 1 second that he doesn't even know. So one last thing about Pat Hickey is that it's so funny. A couple weeks ago, I ended up purchasing his book, If These Walls Could Talk, by Pat Hickey. I picked it up a couple of weeks ago. I'm already 2, 3 chapters in. Finally started reading it. 2, 3 chapters in. It's already a great book. Like he already starts off just reminiscing about the legendary Montreal Canadian players that, basically won all those cups to make this franchise what it is. So, Pat Hickey, here's to you. Congratulations on your retirement. Mad respect for you for your reason behind your retirement, and myself and the Curfew Boys, we wish you all the best in your for the rest of your daily life. So let's get on with the Canadians. Back to back game. They played against the Philadelphia Flyers on Friday, February 24th. And man, the Canadians just came out flying. Like we saw literally a game where it was men versus boys. That's literally what we saw. Goals from David Savard, Jesse Lonen, Chris Tierney, um, Nick Suzuki on the power play, and even Josh Anderson. It was just Josh Anderson said it in his post game interview. He goes, "It's probably our best game of the season in terms of, the most complete game they've played. Everybody was in the play. Everybody was participating in the offensive zone. Uh, my God, how many times did Montreal control that puck in Philly's zone like for 2, 3 minutes straight, where the crowd was literally booing them? Like Philadelphia, they call the city of brotherly love for a reason, man. I don't. Sometimes there's some nights there it must not be easy, especially the way the team's going now. They losing Travis Konechny, if I'm pronouncing his name. Travis Konechny, it doesn't help. Cam Atkinson too, he's out. But man, let's be honest here. The Canadians, they have their injury problems too, but they they it was they looked like the Colorado Avalanche in the fucking Stanley Cup playoffs compared to the Philadelphia Flyers. I did not expect that at all. I didn't expect that from a John Tortorella team, at least. Owen Tippett, within not even a minute in the third period, snipes one on Jake Allen. Okay. They're giving it some effort now. Beginning of the third period, you wonder if John Tortorella smacked the shit out of every single one of his players during the second intermission. But that was just too good to be true in a sense. Just the Canadians they just that night they just got effort from everybody. Even their fourth liners, like that Michael Pezzetta assist to Chris Tierney. Chris Tierney, who was picked up off waivers, played his first game in Montreal, scores his first goal as a Hab off a Michael Pezzetta forecheck deep in the offensive zone, beats the guy, dives to pass the puck into an open Chris Tierney in the slot, and he buries it. Josh Anderson had the same goal, except it was Raphael Harvey-Pinard just rushed in the exact same spot on Carter Hart's left side. Just beats the defenseman, gets the puck, finds a wide open Josh Anderson in the slot, scores a nice goal. They played a perfect game. They played a perfect game. Jake Allen was solid when he had to be. Made the key saves. And, they were only within, now I believe in the standings, they're only within 2 points of Philly. They came to play. The boys came to play. That was Friday night. Saturday night, February 25th. The boys faced the Ottawa Senators at the Bell Center. Result wasn't as good or wasn't as great as their previous night. Both Montreal and Ottawa coming off a back-to-back game. I think Ottawa got shut out by the Carolina Hurricanes the previous night. Both flew into Montreal. And, there's been talk that the Ottawa Senators GM is pumping trying to pump up his team and his fan base, saying they're actually fighting for that final wild card spot in the East. And, probably giving the young guys something to believe in. Can't blame him. Can't blame the GM. He's trying to attract fans too to the arena. But Saturday's night game, the Ottawa Senators, was an important game. They had to win. And when they did, the first period was, I don't know, it was pretty boring. I thought at one point I was going to fall asleep. Not much was going on. Ottawa grabbed the lead late in the first period. Again, I got worried that this was going to be the pace of the game, in a sense that it was just going to be that kind of boring, almost trap-like game. Second period comes along. Michael Pezzetta lays out a beautiful hit in my books, drops the gloves against Austin Watson, and just brought energy to the building, brought energy to the team. What a goal by Mike Matheson, though. What a goal by Mike Matheson. I wonder how many points or goals he'd have if he wasn't injured from the very beginning. A few times he probably got somewhat criticized when he finally came back from his injury. He didn't look too confident with the puck. At times they put him on the power play right away. He was struggling. We kept saying he's not that quarterback defenseman on the power play. I still kind of leaning that way, but lately, the month of February, he's probably 100% healthy because his skating has been outstanding. Mike Matheson's skating lately, at least he's been amazing. He looked like Bobby Orr rushing down the right side. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful goal. We got to give him that. Then the Canadians go on the penalty kill. Awesome penalty kill. Ottawa, I think, had 0 shots on that power play in the second period. Kovacevic spots Nick Suzuki all alone, goes in, beautiful deke. Nick Suzuki gets his 20th of the season as well. And, that thought ourselves, okay, look, the Canadians keep playing this way. They got themselves a game here. But again, just sloppy defensive coverage towards the late second period, towards the end of the second period. Ottawa's tied it up. I'm not even going to get into the third period. The third period was just a bit of a mess. Lucky bounce goal. Montembeault wasn't really his best game. He's been holding the fort all season. I have nothing negative to say about Sammy Montembeault. He's been excellent all season. He's surpassed my expectations. Any any fucking bad word I said about Montembeault last season, like I take it all back. I'm sorry. Like I'm so sorry. Like I really am. I apologize. I don't mind apologizing for this. But no, look, I mean, it's not every game where he's gonna play amazing. I mean, everybody has an off night. I think Samuel Montembeault had a bit of an off night. He wasn't really challenged much within the first period. I don't think he got that much shots. So maybe he was maybe he felt a little rusty. I don't know. It wasn't his best game, but I'm not gonna put the blame on Samuel Montembeault for the loss against the Ottawa Senators. I'm just not. There's been poor defensive coverage on some of the goals. Like the second goal to tie it up, Mike Hoffman, man. Oh, he tonight defensively was not good. There's two goals where he was just out of position in terms of defensive coverage, and it just resulted in a goal. And I hate to shit on the guy. I really do. I don't like blaming a loss on one player, but two goals where he was defensively irresponsible is it's tough, man. Because if that goal doesn't happen at the end of the second period, if Ottawa does not tie up the game at the end of the second period, we have a whole different game. We have a whole different game. Look, that's the beauty about sports. I get that. I understand that. But, you know, Marty's all about being accountable. We say this many times, and we're going to continue to say this until he's no longer coaching this team. That's the kind of coach he is. He's going to hold his players accountable for the mistakes they make. Mike Hoffman tonight, I think, is one of them. But look, man, you can't really win them all. But the way that this team is winning games, though, however, can you guys can you guys? I feel like I'm talking to nobody here. By the way, like I'm all fucking alone. No, to my audience here. Can you guys imagine if Marty had a healthy team for at least give 80 to 90% of the time this season? But can you guys imagine what would we talk? What conversation we would be having right now? Again, I know I'm having a conversation alone here. I unless there's nobody here. What conversation would be having right now about this team? Would we be talking about maybe a potential wild card spot? Maybe the last one? No, but this is something to seriously think about. There's 12 players, 12, 12 players that are injured on the Montreal Canadiens lineup. Yet you beat the Flyers 5-2, and I understand they're nowhere near a great team this year. But you still I'm sorry. They don't have that many guys from the minors, at least I don't think they do. Aside from Sean Couturier, I get he's out. Travis Konechny, I get he's out. But hey, Cole Caulfield is out. Kirby Doc is out. Caden Gooley's out. Arbor Jacki is out. Yoel Armia, Sean Monahan, Uri Slafkovsky, Brendan Gallagher, Paul Byron. Remember him? I don't know if I'm missing anybody. Chris Weinman, whatever. There's 12 players amongst the Montreal Canadiens that are injured, yet they're still winning. They're still beating the New Jersey Devils like as if New Jersey is not a contending team. They beat the Edmonton Oilers a couple weekends ago, end of January, like it was nothing. Can you imagine, guys, if Marty had a healthy lineup? But like, they're winning with I don't want to say washed up veterans, but aside from Matheson, Anderson, maybe Savard, like look, Hoffman, Drouin, Dadonov, Dvorak, they're no spring chickens anymore. Like they're what I mean, after their contracts are done, like I don't know where they're gonna end up. There's at least how many Laval Rocket players are there? There's Raphael Harvey Pinard, Alex Belzil, Jesse Lonen. There's Pizzetta. I'm slowly considering him to be a fourth line NHLer. There's Corey Schooneman. There's Rem Pitlick that went up and down. Justin Barron started the season in Laval. You have only two veterans on defense right now that I can think of. Jordan Harris, rookie. Jonathan Kovacevic, rookie. Justin Barron, rookie. Corey Schooneman, like I said, he's not an NHLer. He's a minor league player. And we're winning games the way we're winning. That is the Marty St. Louis effect. I truly believe Marty is making these players really do some soul searching and realize that you play to win the game. Who's the coach of was it the New York Jets in the NFL? I forgot his name. This is one of the best press conferences or post game interviews. You play to win the game, and I really think Marty is making these guys realize that and play for that. You could argue, for argument's sake here, you could argue that the guys from Laval that are now in the lineup of the Canadiens, they're playing for contracts. Raphael Harvey Pinard is playing for a contract. Jesse Lonen, playing for a contract. Alex Belzil, playing for a contract. Michael Pizzetta, playing for a contract. Let's add in Corey Schooneman, playing for a contract. Yeah, they probably are putting a little bit more effort because they're fighting for a job. They're fighting for a contract. But I mean, Jesus Christ here, excuse my language, but you somehow make this team look like I said, the Colorado Avalanche of last year's playoffs. I know I'm exaggerating, but compared to the Philadelphia Flyers, like, I think Marty is better than what we think, guys and girls. I stand by what I say or what I said the previous episode, not the episode that Joey hosted. Joey, the Statman Joe, decided to fucking grab the reins on last episode and just run with it. Joey, bravo, my friend. Bravo. I give you props. Actually, no, fuck you, I don't. You know my allergies to seafood, and you would bring seafood on purpose to a Super Bowl party? No, fuck you, Joe. I take my props back, you asshole. You're never hosting ever again. I'm only semi kidding. Fuck you for bringing seafood, but good for you, Joey, for hosting. I'm proud of you. The Curfew Boys are proud of you, and hopefully our followers and listeners are enjoyed that episode. I digress. Too much complimenting Joey is not really good for my fucking mental health here. So, back to Marty. I think it's the best decision that Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon did so far. Almost better than any trade. Almost better than any hire, I guess. Bringing Chantal Maccabe was actually very good too. I think for the fan base in this organization, especially within the francophone community. Marie-Philippe Poulin too. That was really cool. I want to talk about though Stéphane Robida. I think this guy deserves a lot more credit than ever. He's literally making this defense become a bit of an offensive threat. Like I said, the only veterans that are on the team right now, I forgot to mention Joel Edmondson being injured, but right now, all he has is Mike Matheson. Excuse me, Mike Matheson and David Savard. The rest are all rookies, and I'm sorry, Jordan Harris does. I'm not sorry. Actually, no, fuck that. I take my apology back. Jordan Harris does not look like a rookie. Jonathan Kovacevic, waiver pickup, very impressive so far this season. Has been holding his own. We all know how we feel about Arbor Jacki. Doesn't even look like a rookie. Caden Gooley, man, I can't wait to see this kid come back from injury. I want to see him play a couple of games before the season ends. I know he's nearing a return. I hope he comes back during the Canadians road trip out in California next week. That's fucking time difference. That's gonna be tough. But Caden Gooley, like, I hope Justin Barron. Okay, can we talk about Justin Barron here for a second? Him going to Laval was the best decision ever. I know I said Marty was the best decision ever, but in terms of player development amongst the young kids, the rookies, Justin Barron, I think hands down the best decision for him. He was putting up points in Laval. He was putting up goals in Laval. He got selected. Don't forget, he got selected to be part of the AHL All-Star game. He just didn't go because he was called up to the Canadians. Fortunately for him, look, injuries happen. You got to take advantage of those opportunities. You can ask Raphael Harvey-Pinard. I'm sure he'll vouch for that too. Justin Barron's putting up a lot of points. Not a lot of points, actually. I'm not going to say that, but like he's got I think 9 points, 10 points now, including another assist against the Ottawa Senators on Mike Matheson's Bobby Orr goal. Let me paint a picture for you guys here. In the month of February, the Canadians scored, including the game against the Ottawa Senators, they scored 29 goals. 11 goals came from the defensemen. That's 38%. That's just how smart I am. I could calculate just like that. Need no calculators. No, I'm kidding. I calculated that before on my phone, but it's just under 40%. That's pretty awesome. Now, I don't want to discredit Patrick Robida and his defensive coaching. Listen, they have no Cole Caulfield. They have no Kirby Dach. Listen, Mike Hoffman's not putting up goals. Jonathan Drouin has 0 goals. You know, you could argue, the only reason why the defensemen are scoring is because the forwards aren't scoring. Well, yeah, you're probably right. But they're also winning games because the defense is scoring instead of the forwards. Like, at some point, you got to give credit. You got to give credit where it's due. And I loved Luke Richardson when he was with Montreal. I did. I think we all know the stories about how the guys loved and respected him, especially when he took over from Dominic Ducharme during the 2001 Stanley Cup playoffs. You know, a lot of people say it was really because of him why they beat the Vegas Golden Knights. But I think Pat Robida is the best replacement for him. Don't forget, people, Patrick Robida. Oh no, why am I calling Patrick Stefan Robida? Oh my God, Stefan Robida. Why am I calling him Patrick? Jesus Christ, need a drink of water. Stefan Robida. Excuse me. Don't forget, he helped develop some of the stars on the Toronto Maple Leafs, like William. Oh my God, I can't speak. William Nylander, Mitch Marner. You can even put in Austin Matthews. I think he helped develop these players. Austin Matthews, no matter who the development staff was, we all knew Austin Matthews was going to be the player that he is now. It was pretty evident. But still, there's still a part to play in it. Stefan Robida is One of the reasons why. And look what he's doing with our young defensemen. They don't look out of place. Of course they're going to make mistakes. Of course they're going to have bad nights. They're rookies. These guys are rookies. Jordan Herron, Kovacevic, when Jacki comes back, when Gooley comes back, Justin Barron, they're all rookies. They belong with this team. They belong where they are right now. I'm truly convinced. Major trades though happened today. Actually, not major trades. Sorry, there were some trades. Some trades were made today on February 25th. It started off with uh, not that this much is important, but Shane Bowers traded to the Boston Bruins for Keith Kincaid. Like he's obviously going to the minors. Vitaly Kravtsov from the Rangers. I know a lot of Montreal Canadiens fans wanted him. I know there's some criticism going on amongst the fan base that the Canadiens didn't trade for him. I'll get to that in a second. Nino Niederreiter. I'm saying that properly. I think I am. Nino Niederreiter traded to the Winnipeg Jets for a 2024 second round pick from the Nashville Predators. Winnipeg sends their 2024 second round pick to Nashville. That's a pretty good indication that I think the Jets are going all in. I don't know if they're done though acquiring guys, but especially I think the announcement of Cole Perfetti getting hurt certainly doesn't help. But that was the news today in terms of trades. But I think the major news is that Patrick Kane, healthy scratch, sent home, or at least sent back home to Chicago. Just sit and wait. There's a lot of indication and hype and talk and where there's smoke there's fire that the Rangers seem to be closing in on Patrick Kane. I truly believe though, it's not I believe, like I'd be shocked if this doesn't happen, but I think a third party team has to be involved in this trade. And we've seen that recently of some of these three-way trades. Look at the who was it, Boston, when they acquired Dmitry Orlov and Garnet Hathaway from Washington. Minnesota had to get involved to retain half the salary. Fuck, man. Fucking Boston. Oh my god. Like, I hate saying this, but I don't know if there's any team in the East that can compete against them in the playoffs. In a 7-game series, I don't know, guys. I don't think so. The Curfew Boys put out a tweet saying that, and the feeling amongst Habs fans, it's so funny. The feeling is mutual for majority. It's every single Habs fan out there hates the Boston Bruins. Longtime rivalry, so rightfully so. But you could tell there's a level of respect there. It's like you could tell, like, you are my enemy, but I respect you. This is so funny. The answers from most fans is like, as long as it's not the Maple Leafs, as long as the Maple Leafs don't get past the first round. That was the popular answer amongst that tweet. As long as the Leafs don't go anywhere, fuck the Leafs. I think that's hilarious, and I think every single Habs fan feels that way. But they have Dmitry Orlov, who's he's a very good defenseman, could be a solid number 3 on that team. Charlie McAvoy is just insane. Like, he's disgusting. He's an awesome defenseman. I think the Bruins are going in for like the last dance type of season or playoff run. The Last Dance, the Chicago Bulls documentary and the Michael Jordan documentary. I truly believe the Boston Bruins they have that same mindset. You know, this might be the last time they're all together with Bergeron, Krejci. I think Pasternak, if they resign him, there's a couple of guys that they might not get another chance like this. So you could tell that's almost the culture they have. That Jim Montgomery, the coach, like is building and has built since the start of the season. So, but my God, though, Joey was right. Another thing, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Joey was right too because Washington is trying to catch up to Florida, and it's true. Just they traded Dmitry Orlov. That's just doesn't make the team any better. They get, I believe, they get Craig Smith in return. Yes, they do. The Washington, they got Craig Smith, and they got a 2023 first round pick, a 2024 third round pick, and a 2025 second round pick. They also got Andres Svetlakov, his signing rights from the Minnesota Wild. So I was just there thinking, like, there's problem. I don't think they'll be able to catch up to the Florida Panthers. So that pick that we got from them, it's I don't know. I'm with Joy on this one too. But another thing, can you guys imagine if Patrick Kane goes to the New York Rangers? Patrick Kane to the New York Rangers. If that goes down, are they the new favorites? If Patrick Kane goes to the New York Rangers, do they become the new favorites? Like, they already got Tarasenko in a trade. Uh, and they're going to try to add in Patrick Kane? What's that first line going to look like? Are you putting Zibanejad with Kreider and Kane? Are you going to put old teammates together again? Panarin and Kane with Zibanejad? You put Tarasenko with Kreider on another line? Like your top six for the New York Rangers, if they get Patrick Kane, is fucking insane. I get it. Vladimir Tarasenko is not the same player he once was. Patrick Kane, you could argue, well, him too. He's not that much. The guy suddenly just decided to turn on the Jets and fucking score 4 points against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, he's still Patrick Kane here, folks. One of the best players to ever play the game. One of the best American players to ever play the game. 3-time Stanley Cup champion with Chicago Blackhawks in the early part of the decade of 2010. Like, he's no joke either. I don't care how old he is. Patrick Kane is still an elite player. You surround him with guys that this New York Rangers team. Oh my God. I don't know. Maybe they could be the team to beat Boston. I would love to see that series. They're not in the same division. Who knows? If that's the Eastern Conference Finals, the Rangers versus the Bruins, I'm watching every single game. I'm already going to be watched. Like that's how much of a hockey fan I am. At least is that I watch almost every game I could with whichever games my provider is providing. That's proper English. Yeah, I'm going to be watching the playoffs. But man, if we get a New York Rangers with Patrick Kane in their roster versus the Boston Bruins, that'll be a sick matchup. And I wouldn't be surprised if winner of that series goes on to win the Stanley Cup. I think that would be cool. Actually, I don't know if I want Boston to win the cup, though, to be honest. Even though I say, like, I don't see anybody stopping them. Like I said, I know if the Rangers beat them, great. If the Rangers beat them, I want the Rangers to win. I really do. And I want Habs fans to see Alexis Lafreniere raise the cup. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I hate bringing this back up, but this Pierre-Luc Dubois talk doesn't stop. Where there's smoke, there's fire, I guess, but I really don't see Winnipeg trading him right now. They're trying to make a good run in the playoffs. They're going to need him. He's one of their best players. Pierre-Luc Dubois is not coming to Montreal at least this trade deadline. I'll be shocked. After the way they acquired Nino Niederreiter, I'll be shocked if they trade Pierre-Luc Dubois come March 3rd, trade deadline. I don't see it happening. I really don't. Timo Meier was a healthy scratch too tonight against the San Jose Sharks. I think they're honoring Patrick Marleau or retiring Patrick Marleau, so a lot of the attention is on Patrick Marleau's night. Timo Meier, though, him too. I think he might get traded at the deadline. Or actually, no. Let me change that thought. I truly believe, folks, that a lot of these trades, a lot of these big names, we're talking about Patrick Kane, we're talking about Meier. I think those guys go before the March 3rd deadline. Others, like, I don't know what the fuck is going on with the Jacob Chikrin from Arizona. I can't pronounce his fucking last name. I apologize. I don't know what's going on with him. They're saying Luke Shen, he's on the block. He's been a healthy scratch. James Van Riemsdyk too from Philly is on the block as well, healthy scratch. I don't know what that means for the Canadians, folks. I really, really don't. It's been a couple of days that I've heard that it's going to be a slow trade day or slow trade deadline for the Canadians. I'm starting to believe it a lot more. Sean Monahan's injury and Joel Edmonton's injury really put a dent on Kent Hughes' plans. I really, really believe that. They're still saying they could still see where Monahan is at if he plays maybe a game or two before the deadline. I think it's too late at this point. If we really want to see where Monahan was at, he needed to play this past weekend. He needed to play Friday, Saturday against Philly and Ottawa. He's not back. I don't even know if he traveled with the team. Mind you, they're back home now, but we'll see. If they announce, he's traveling with the team to California, okay, maybe. I don't know. Folks. Maybe Joel Edmondson, maybe. And I know he's skating, but he needs to play some games. He's got to play games. And if he goes to a team, I don't think we're getting a first-round pick, folks. Sorry to say. We got Sherratt for a first-round pick. I understand that Florida's roster, the roster they had last season, everybody thought they were going to win the Cup, including me. Just didn't work out that way. I don't think we're getting a first-round pick for Joel Edmondson. If they do trade Sean Monahan, I don't think we're getting a first-round pick for him. I just don't think we're getting any first rounds this draft. I think we're staying with the two that we have, Montreal's pick and Florida's pick, and I think it's just staying that way. Maybe a second-round pick, but I don't think that I don't think that's going to go down that way. I do think the Canadians could be one of those teams that's a third party for a trade. Fuck, it's too bad I'm alone. Where are my buddies when I need them, fucking guys? Out of all nights to fucking take the night off. No, I'm joking, but serious question. Does Jeff Gordon's connections with the New York Rangers give them a chance to be part of a trade? Could they get involved in that three-way deal with the Rangers that includes Patrick Kane? Like, can you imagine? For a single moment, can you guys imagine Patrick Kane gets traded to the Montreal Canadiens and gets traded to the New York Rangers, retains half the salary? Can you imagine that? We could probably say in our lifetime we traded for a superstar that never played for the Montreal Canadiens. That'll be something. If you look at the three-way deals that have been done lately, if you look at the trades of Boston, Minnesota, and Washington, it looks like Washington won that trade with all those picks. But look, Minnesota was, I guess, a third party, and they got a fifth-round pick in this coming draft. Let's scroll all the way down to the Minnesota, St. Louis, and Maple Leafs deal. The one that brought in Ryan O'Reilly to the Toronto Maple Leafs, now that they're fucking planning a parade already. St. Louis came out winning that deal with a 2023 first-round pick, 2023 third-round pick, and a 2024 second-round pick. Minnesota gets a 2025 fourth-round pick. I mean, who knows? It obviously shows that St. Louis is going for the rebuild. I think they got like 3 first-round picks in about a week. Okay, maybe a bit more. But they got a first-round pick, conditional first-round pick for trading Tarasenko. I'm not saying the Canadiens are going to get a first-round pick. I highly doubt it. But, you know, for helping out the Rangers, and they have a good chance of winning the cup. Hey, man, we're helping you out. Maybe give us a second-round pick. We only have one this year in this coming draft. Let me double-check here on the famous capfriendly.com. But, yeah, we only have one second-round pick this year for the 2023 draft. Maybe throw another one in. We had 2 last draft, drafting Owen Beck and Lane Hudson. Does anybody hate that? Anybody in Habs Nation hate that trade or hate those picks? Not at all. We only have one third-round pick. Maybe we grab a third-round pick. Who knows? Maybe Edmonton could fetch us a third-round pick. I just think the plans of acquiring a third first-round pick that Kent Hughes said himself out loud, our plan is to get a third first-round pick. I unfortunately don't think that's going to happen anymore. I'm looking at the trade, too, of Nino Niederreiter. He's making $4 million. That's $4 million on his cap hit. He's got 1 season left, 1 year left on his contract. That's $4 million with the Winnipeg Jets. I'm going to throw in Mike Hoffman's name here. Before I do, actually, Nino Niederreiter traded again for a 2024 second-round pick. Okay. Nino Niederreiter has, in 56 games, he got 28 points. 18 goals, however. That's still pretty good. Mike Hoffman, and I'm saying his name. Mike Hoffman, cap it at $4.5 million. 1 year left on his contract. I'm just laughing just thinking about it. In 44 games, he's got 25 points, 3 points less than Nino Niederreiter. Does that trade of Nino Niederreiter, does it open up a possibility of being able to trade Mike Hoffman for a second or third round draft pick? Maybe. As long as he's not fuck. Okay. Listen, Nino Niederreiter is defensively responsible, at least a lot more than Mike Hoffman's ever been. But let's say there's a team out there that's making the playoffs for sure. Throwing a scenario here, let's say somebody within their top 6 gets injured and somebody they need on a power play. Does that open up the possibility of being able to trade Mike Hoffman? You put him on power play opportunities. Don't pair him up with the opposing line where he's got to play defensively. Maybe it's a possibility. I like this is the thing about Kent Hughes. The guy's smart. He could, I think, he could pull a rabbit out of his hat. Wasn't going for the other area that sounded like I was, but again, if he's able to pull something off, I'm not going to be surprised because he's Kent Hughes. But I don't know. I I truly think we're gonna have to accept a slow trade deadline for the Canadians. We all went nuts last year because they a little bit before traded Toffoli, they traded Ben Sherratt, and they got these picks and these prospects and all that, and we were all like, "My God, yeah, the rebuild is on." I think this year we're going to have to live with the fact that guys got injured way too much. And here, breaking news: the Montreal Canadiens announce Arbor Jackeye season is over, and Kirby Doc and Joel Armia, excuse me, are not traveling with the team to California. And there you have it. Well, look, if Jackeye season is over, if you look at Cole Caulfield season's over, maybe you put them on a LTIR. Maybe you trade Paul Byron's LTIR contract to a team that kind of needs LTIR space. You acquire a pick, maybe a minor league player. I mean, Laval needs help right now. Laval Rockets, they're trying to make a push for that final playoff spot, then they're going to need some help. Raphael Harvey Pinard is not leaving Montreal anytime soon. I think he's earned his right to stay. 11 points in 15 games. You can bet your ass he's earned his right to stay. Yes, Ylonen might get sent down, but for now, with all these injuries, especially the injury of like guys like Yoel Armia, I don't think he's going anywhere for now. Alex Belzil, the same. I'm not sure if he's going anywhere right now. Those are three guys that play top line minutes in Laval that they're missing. They'll probably send down Corey Schooneman when Caden Gooley returns. But if the Canadiens are going to make trades, if it's going to be a slow day, I think maybe if they make one or two, one of them or even both, probably going to be a minor league player that could help out Laval try to make a final playoff push. And that, they won't sign next season. Or if he costs nothing, he's got a year or two left on the deal. Yeah, maybe you could take it. If they could find like a Nate Schnarr type of trade like they did with Keith Kincaid, I believe. Why not? Because don't forget, though, folks, like next season, we're getting at least 3-4 prospects that could go pro. Okay? I'm going to talk about these two prospects specifically. Talk about Riley Kidney. And I know I've talked about Sean Farrell before, but it's got to be mentioned that Sean Farrell right now, he's going to sign with the Montreal Canadiens at the end of his NCAA, my God, NCAA season. At the end of Sean Farrell's NCAA season, he's going to sign with the Montreal Canadiens. 100%. He's second in college hockey in points per game, average points per game, or just points per game in general. He's second in the NCAA. Number one player in the NCAA that's putting up the highest number of points per game, Adam Fantilli. Okay? Sean Farrell, a 4th-round pick, okay, is second in most points per game behind a projected top 3 pick in the 2023 NHL draft. Harvard played their last game, their last regular season game in the NCAA. Just right now as we speak, I'll double check the score here and see if he picked up any points. They won 3-2. And he was pointless in the final game of the season. And that's okay. That's really okay. Because let's be honest, folks, Sean Farrell, 28 games, 47 points. I'm not including tonight, but I know Adam Fantilli reached the 50-point mark. 18 goals and 29 points for Sean Farrell. He's going to sign with the Canadiens, folks. I'm very excited to see him. I really am. I say this again. I saw him in the rookie development camp, and he looked like the best player out there. So smart. He knows what to do with the puck. He knows what to do without the puck. If you look at some of his passing plays, unreal. They played Friday night. He had a penalty shot on YouTube Shorts. We posted it. He did not much of a nice slick move where he made it look easy, just coming in and practically just lobbed the puck on the forehand. Made it look easy. Almost a Slick Nick type of move. Speaking of Slick Nick Suzuki, that beautiful breakaway goal against the Ottawa Senators. Wow. 20th of the season, in case I haven't mentioned it. I don't remember if I mentioned it earlier on in this episode, but 20 goals for Nick Suzuki. He's one away from tying a career high. He's going to reach, I know the boys talked about it last episode, but he's going to reach at least 23, 25, maybe more. There's still a couple of games left. There's still a whole month of March. What am I saying? But Sean Farrell, expect him to sign with the Montreal Canadiens. There's the Big Ten tournament that's going to come up at the beginning of March. It finishes mid-March. And then after that, it's the NCAA playoffs and then the Frozen Four, which is the Final Four. And that's going to happen April 8th. But if ever Harvard gets eliminated before that, don't be surprised if we hear Sean Farrell signs with the Montreal Canadiens. And don't even be surprised that the Canadiens offer him a contract. I know it's only his second year in, but this kid's done it all. He's done it all. Playing the Olympics, playing the World Championships. Won with the Chicago Steel in the U.S. In the United States Hockey League, USHL. Put up over 100 points, almost finished 114 points, something like that. So yeah, I'm excited to see Sean Farrell. I'm going to move on to Riley Kidney. And this is something to consider here, folks. Riley Kidney, him too, second round pick. Okay. I felt bad for him when I was happy for him that he got selected to Team Canada, the World Juniors last season. Barely played. I think he played like 3 games. And in those 3 games, I think he was lucky if he played more than 3 minutes a game. He was the 13th forward. I mean, he still won. He didn't really do much, though. In this year's World Junior Championship tournament for Team Canada, I thought he was going to make it. Him and Joshua Roy again. Doesn't even make the team. I think that hurt him. I think that must have fueled something inside of him. Because after that happened, after he got cut from Team Canada, he got traded in the Quebec Major Junior. He got traded from his team, Acadie Bathurst, the Titans. He got traded to the Gatineau Olympics. 43 points in 17 games since being traded. He put up 45 points with his previous team in 31 games. 45 points in 31 games. He's got now 43 and 17. He's averaging 2.53 points per game. A total of 88 points in 48 games. I know we always talk about Lane Hudson, for example. Amongst the forwards, Owen Beck kind of slowed down. Philip Massar, unfortunately, not having the season that we all hoped he would have. We talk about Joshua Roy, rightfully so. I mean, don't kid yourself, too. Joshua Roy, he's putting up points as well. 72 points in 43 games. 33 goals. I think he scored another one tonight. Could have had 2. I haven't checked the score yet. We're talking about Logan Mailloux. He's got 21 goals so far on the season. Him too scored again tonight. Riley Kidney. I think it's time we start paying a little bit more attention to this kid. I kind of consider him like the Canadian version of Sean Farrell. Sean Farrell being American. Riley Kidney has a bit of that same playmaking style in a sense, except Riley Kidney is a centerman and Sean Farrell's a winger. I don't know whose ceiling is higher, though. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm not sure whose ceiling is higher on this one. We might give it to Sean Farrell. Has a bit of a higher ceiling. But I think Riley Kidney is just as good as Sean Farrell. I really, really believe that. The best way to find out is if these guys start next season in Laval. I know Riley Kidney's going to Laval. I'm willing to bet either my left nut or every dollar I have left in the bank account, which isn't much. He's under contract as of next season. He's played over 4 seasons in the Quebec Major Junior. He's played 4 seasons in junior. He's going pro next year. Him going to Laval, it'll be awesome. I think it'll be great. I think it'll be great. He's going to have no other choice. I don't even think he's going to make the Montreal Canadiens next season. We'll see him at training camp, hopefully. You never know. Everybody loves a good Cinderella story. Everybody loves a good surprise. I hope he goes far, however, in the Quebec Major Junior playoffs. I hope he wins it. I hope he's able to bring his team to Memorial Cup. You ask anybody. A lot of people say, yes, playing for a Stanley Cup is the best experience you could get. A lot of these players say the second best experience in terms of your development, competing, fighting for something is going to the Memorial Cup. You can ask Arbor Jacki that. You can ask Caden Gooley that. You can ask Raphael Harvey-Pinard that. Fighting for the Memorial Cup is key to the development of these players. Ask Nick Suzuki. Raphael Harvey-Pinard beat Nick Suzuki. Him and Joel Teasdale. Joel Teasdale, that's now in Laval. They beat Nick Suzuki's team. You think that doesn't have some kind of important role in Raphael Harvey-Pinard's development? Before going pro? Raphael Harvey-Pinard is where he is because of his work ethic, but also because of everything he's learned and experienced from that time. A guy like Riley Kidney, I hope he has the same road to the NHL. Hopefully not as long as Raphael Harvey-Pinard. What can you expect? Raphael Harvey-Pinard, 7th round pick. He has to work his butt off to get where he is, and he's going to continue to do it because he has to. If he wants to stay in the NHL, he's got to have the Brendan Gallagher work ethic. There's a reason why they call him Gally Pinard in Laval, because we're all reminded of him. This is what I hope for Riley Kidney. I really do. I hope. Can you imagine if the Quebec Major Junior Finals is somehow? I don't think Gatineau and Sherbrooke are in the same conference. Can you imagine? We got a Joshua Roy versus Riley Kidney Quebec Major Junior final. One of those two goes to the Memorial Cup. Gets to face Logan Mailloux and the London Knights. Can you imagine that? Another player too, where I hope he goes to the Memorial Cup. It'll be great for his development. And then in the Western Conference, Jared Davidson. I'm going to be talking about him one day with the Seattle Thunderbirds. And Dylan Gunther and Adam Lambert. They're having a heck of a season too. And we'll see what happens, folks. There's still some questions though. There's still some unanswered questions in terms of seeing where this team is going. I think with our prospect pool, we have a bit of an idea who we might see in the future, but there's still things to figure out that Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon still need to figure out. But as long as this team has Marty to coach these kids, man, anything is possible. I mean, it really, really is. I don't want to sound too optimistic, but it's kind of hard not to be. Before I wrap it up, I'm just going to look over. Do my own version of the out of town scoreboard here. Columbus beating Edmonton 6-5. The Washington Capitals beating the Rangers 6-3. Wow. Okay. Pittsburgh winning in overtime. I actually saw that goal versus St. Louis Blues. Boston beating Vancouver 3-1. Vancouver, I don't know if they'll ever catch up to the Canadiens in the standings, but hey, anyways. Anaheim, how does Anaheim beat the Carolina Hurricanes? 3-2. We get our asses whooped by Carolina. Like, you think we're going to beat the Ducks? Trevor Zegras is going to do another fucking Michigan goal on Montembeault. That fucking guy. Ottawa, obviously, beating the Canadiens 5-2. The New Jersey Devils destroying Philly 7-0. Ouch. Tampa Bay beating Detroit 3-0. And as I'm recording this podcast, this episode, Dallas and Vegas. Dallas and Vegas. This is going to be an important game. I think Timo Meier is going to end up with one of these two teams. Or maybe Dallas could pick up Mike Hoffman. Maybe they could. I think that would be great. Because earlier word was that Carolina is out of the Timo Meier sweepstake. Or the Timo Meier bidding war, if you want to call it. Does that mean Carolina is good with their lineup? They have Max Pacioretty on long-term injured reserve. Do the Canes really need to adjust their lineup? I don't know. It could be. I think Vegas could use Timo Meier, especially with Mark Stone now and that's out of the lineup due to injury, LTIR. They need a goal scorer. Dallas looks pretty good. I just like I really hope though somebody picks up Hoffman's contract because I think he's got to go. And again, I know I'm talking about Monahan and Edmonton again. Folks, you got to realize this. An NHL team is only able to retain half of a player's contract 3 times. You can only retain 3 contracts when it comes to trading a player. You can't retain more than that. So, if you're thinking about trading Drouin, you're thinking about trading Dadonov, you're thinking about trading Monahan, if those are 3 guys you want to retain, fine. If they do that, they cannot be part of a 3-way trade retaining another 50%. They can't. Something to think about. And another recent update, Chicago up 1-0 on the San Jose Sharks. I think that's it for me, folks. I've pretty much said everything I wanted to say on my own. I hope my boys get to listen to this episode. I hope I didn't let them down. I feel pretty good. I feel confident. I think I delivered something pretty decent, at least. hopefully interesting enough to grab all of your attention. For those of you who are listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, I thank you all very much. Please subscribe to our page. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can always leave us comments. We always love having discussions with Habs fans about this team and everywhere else in the NHL. To my boys, please don't leave me alone next time. I would much rather talk to you guys than stare at myself in the screen and talk like I feel like a psychopath talking to myself. But I know I'm talking to an audience, but still, this was it took a little couple minutes to get used to, but otherwise, no, I got to do what we got to do, boys. So to everybody out there, enjoy the episode. Have a great day. This episode airing on Sunday. Have a great Sunday. Great weekend. Don't forget, the Canadians are heading to California as of next week. If you're in the East Coast, those are going to be late games if you're willing to stay up for those. Let's recap here. On Tuesday, the Canadians face the San Jose Sharks, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Jesus Christ. Thursday, they're going to face Philip Danault and the Los Angeles Kings at 10:30. And then on Friday, they'll face Trevor Zegras and the Ducks at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So, I mean, I don't work Thursday. I don't work Friday. Don't forget, Friday, March 3rd is trade deadline. I'm not sure if we're going to be releasing another episode by then, unless there's some major news in a trade that involves either the Canadians or somebody else. We'll try to get together and release something. But don't forget, March 3rd, NHL trade deadline. I'm not just taking the day off. I have the day off because of shift work. I'm going to be staying on the couch at 8 a.m., watching probably TSN most likely, and then we'll see what happens after that. Until then, folks, thank you once again. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great week. And until next time, bye now. Good night.